Coach Brian here with Cause Events, and welcome to Coach's Corner. Today, something different, a little bit different. I don't hear many people talking about, but while I was watching a YouTube video from Latos Law, which he's a lawyer up in Michigan, I believe, and he's got some interesting things that he talks about. But one time, he was talking about the time he had to go to court after he face planted off his mountain bike. And the one thing that really caught my attention was after he crashed, his cycling partner, mountain bike partner, came up to him and says, "Steve, take your ring off your finger right away." And he did that because he saw that his hand had been all mashed up and his face was all mashed up. He pulled the ring off his finger and put it in his pocket, and that probably saved his finger. And the thing that really drew my attention was the fact that we don't talk about some of these little things. And that's why we do these tips, tricks, and hacks. Because these are little things that most people never even contemplate having to do when they have an incident. So let's talk about jewelry and sports. Anything can happen at any time. And one thing that I see people do, I've had to actually help a friend look for her husband's wedding ring in a park one time that she lost a couple days earlier, and there was no chance we were finding it. I told her, I said, it's a kind of a fool's errand, but I'll help you just in the off chance that we might find it. And we never did. You'd need a metal detector if it was even there, because so many people walked over that ground, but somebody probably found it and walked off with a nice gold ring. So, but what we want to discuss here is the fact that jewelry and sports really don't mix. Okay? If you jam your finger, if you get kicked in your hand, or you hit somebody's foot with your hand when you're swimming, if you crash on your bike and hurt your hand, jam your finger. If you're running, trip and fall and jam your finger, your hand's going to swell up. And if you leave that ring on for more than a few seconds, it's going to stay there until somebody cuts it off, or they end up having to cut your finger off. So let's think about that. You probably shouldn't even think about wearing your rings when you're going swimming. First of all, you're asking for a loss of a ring because you get in the water's usually colder than you are. Your hands, the skin in your hands contracts and it could slip off, and it has happened. And if you're in a pool, you got a good chance of finding it. If you're not, if you're in open water, you might as well kiss it goodbye. Unless you have a diver friend with a metal detector, you're not finding it. So I would say just leave the ring at home there. Also, leave it at home if you're cycling. Leave it at home if you're running. Yeah, I know you want to feel loyal to your significant other, but it's like you can be loyal without having the ring on your finger. I know you love your jewelry, and we want you to love it and keep it. We don't want you to lose it or a finger, okay? And that goes for toe rings too. You jam your toe with a toe ring on, you may have to cut that toe ring off or cut the toe off. Your choice. Secondly, a lot of guys like these specialty rings made of chrome, moly, or titanium, and this is a recipe for disaster, okay? Because if you jam your finger with a titanium ring and it swells up and it's stuck there, you're losing the finger. They're not cutting that titanium ring. Same thing with chrome moly. You're going to do so much damage to your finger just trying to cut it off. You might as well just cut the finger off. It'd be easier and less painful. So forget those rings. It's like if you really want to make a permanent statement, get a ring tattooed on your finger. Okay. It's going to hurt for a couple days, but you'll be fine. You'll live through it. You can even have your significant other's name tattooed around your finger where that ring goes, and put the ring on over it when you come home, and you do that. And I learned not to wear rings. I never wear jewelry. I'm married. I never wear jewelry. I worked with rotating equipment. I was a pump mechanic, and I worked with all kinds of rotating equipment. And when you work in that world, you meet people who are missing their ring finger because they didn't take the ring off when they were working, and the piece of equipment grabbed the ring and it took the finger with it. So it's a good way to lose an appendage. We don't want you to lose an appendage. When you're working with rotating equipment, you all learn not to do that. So you take your rings off when you go out hiking, when you go out running, when you go out cycling, when you go out swimming. There's so many things that can happen. The next one is chains around your neck. Now if it's a nice little herringbone, thin chain that's uptight, if it gets caught on something, it's just going to break. But if it's one of these heavier, bulkier chains made of silver, even a heavier gold chain, gets caught on something, you may be trapped underwater. If somebody's foot gets caught in it when you're swimming in a group, they're going to be kicking wildly to get that foot out of there. And guess whose face is going to get kicked while that's happening? So leave the chain at home. Besides, a lot of times, if you're swimming, especially if you're going in the ocean through the surf line, you may lose it. It may just get pulled right off your neck. And then the guys on the beach with the metal detectors will find it a couple days later. Okay, so earrings. If you wear your earrings in a triathlon and you get kicked in the ear, guess where the back of that earring is going to go? Right there. And you're going to end up bleeding. So, and you're going to destroy the earring. So just, take them off. I don't have earrings, and I'm not a jeweler, and I'm sure they've got little plastic things you can put it in there, and the hole's not going to close up that fast anyway. Okay, so leave the jewelry there. Okay, and I would recommend not cycling, swimming, or running in a jester's hat. Okay, I don't know where they get those things from, but they pop up everywhere, here and there, every now and then, and you never know where you're going to see the next jester's hat. So watch out for those things. Okay, hey, this was fun. I hope it helps. I hope you save your rings and your necklaces and your toe rings and your earrings for when you really need to display that stuff. So with that, I'm going to say you guys have, I want to remind everybody, like and subscribe. Okay? That's it for this evening. Coach Brian here, and you have a good night.